Serious people who attempted suicide before, what's something your friend can say or do that can really help? After one of my attempts I ran into a buddy I hadn't seen in a while because I'd become a little recluse. Why? His face was lit up and he hugged me and he said, "I thought you ducking died. What are you doing tonight?" Nah. We are going to make a nice dinner and I'm gonna show you a game I got. Come on. I remember my friend picked me up once after I had an attempted and he just let me chill in his room. He didn't pressure me into doing anything or bombard me with questions. I think he knew I didn't want to be alone while being alone, if that makes sense. Edit. Thank you everyone. I'm really glad there is a positive thread going, and also thank you for my first awards ever including silver and gold. Lay off on the saying things. Listen more. And overall, I can't stress this enough, be there. Honestly, I can't think of anything someone could say that would have helped. At the time I wouldn't call what I did a suicide attempt, as my intention wasn't ending my life. But a few years ago I stabbed myself in the stomach. Tons of people came out of the woodwork to tell me they are there for me and to just reach out. But the one that meant the most was one of my oldest friends. He didn't just send a half-assed message and then never reach out again like the others. He actually kept contact. It wasn't much. Just a random meme from Reddit or some joke or song. Just something small that kept me grounded and realizing that there are people out there that care about me and want me around. He passed away 2 years ago this month and I miss him more than anything. He died of a drug overdose and not a day goes by where I don't wish I could have helped him the way he had helped me in the weeks and months after my attempt. Reach out to them. Throw them the lifeline. Don't just tell them the lifeline is available if they ask, because chances are they won't. This is going to be more personal so please don't leave me too soon. I want to be able to visit you across the hall when we are 80 years old and in the mental asylum, haha. Apostrophe. I keep that letter in my wallet and read it when I'm feeling very bad. It gives me a way to hold on to something. Means the world to me, and that letter is priceless to me. A big hug can go a long way. You matter to me. Apostrophe. And actually mean it. I was about 13 when my mom saw cuts on my arm. I got lectured by both my parents as they sat me in front of a computer screen to look at images of scars from people who cut. Tried to scare me out of it and it made me feel even worse, but I didn't want to do it anymore because I didn't want to disappoint them. I believe in life after death and am sealed to my family. That was probably one of the most traumatizing moments of my life. Afterwards my mom constantly bombarded me with questions and would check my arms for more cuts. She would make me wear tight clothes to school so I didn't feel bad about my body. If I can give you any advice, don't force it. Be there. Be supportive. But let them deal with those thoughts in their own way. You can only do so much to sway a person. But let them know you are there. And if they just wanna sit with you then that's okay. Edit. I should probably mention this before I get comments that my parents are abusive or whatever. But I don't think they've really dealt with suicide a lot. And definitely not out of my other siblings. It came out of a place of love and wanting to keep me here. But I think they had just kinda panicked. Love them both dearly. Parents make mistakes. Maybe even having some real friends won't stop me before. I don't know. The only friends I had were just people who were using me for stuff. My old friends thought I had sexualized them and thought I was a homophobic and ditched me when I wasn't at all, and I never had ever sexualized them. They were my closest friends and I couldn't live without talking to them, so suicide was on my mind for quite some time after that. I had it all planned out ready to go, but I had one more friend that was there for me. She loved me so much she didn't want me to leave, and her inspiration for me is the reason why I'm here today. I always struggled to think of the impact it would have on other people. My best friend and I were in the car one night, and I was crying, and I mentioned how I think a lot about standing on the edge of a building, and whether or not anyone would look up if I was going to jump. She told me that every time I thought like that, To imagine she was on the rooftop with me. Putting it in that perspective really helped me in some low places. It's something we say to one another at bad points. Now I'm on that rooftop with you. Always. I've attempted twice. My friends give an awkward laugh and say we are not gonna go there. If I ever mention anything even remotely suicidal, serious or joking, they know about both attempts. I don't know what anyone can say or do, but brushing it aside is not the answer. I can tell you that. You're not going to die by having that rough conversation, but they might if you refuse to. I'll never forget the day of my first attempt. I was sitting on my floor about to go for it soon when a guy from school called me. My friend had desperately told everyone she could think of after finding out I wanted to kill myself. He said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." He said, "No, you're not." He begged me not to do anything stupid and tried to get me to understand nobody's life would be the same if I left. My eyes sting every time I think about it. Hope has doing well. This is an important thread. My parents are the dig head in sand until it goes away kinda people. And I had a really difficult time with suicidal thoughts. I'm 30 now and still feel like if I had someone sit down, look me in the face, and tell me they love me and that I mean a lot to them, without it turning into a guilt trip that's all about the other person, I would be in a better place. I know my people love me, but they brush off or change the subject anytime anything happens or anything is brought up in general that they don't want to talk about. Even now when I try to talk about issues in the past, avoiding conversations with those that need it the most is just as bad as denying them altogether. Make sure your people know how much they mean to you. It would have helped me immensely. For me personally, what broke me wasn't seeing Dee cry, wasn't seeing her feel as if she was to blame, even though I'm alive, because I felt bad for her. I had asked to talk to her after work, but she blew it off thinking I was asking her out. Sure I'll go out with you, haha. Close bracket. It was her saying everything is going to be alright. It just broke me. Literally broke me beyond belief, which resulted in me opening up more. Then her saying it's not your fault and just fuck me. 2 attempts. Hundreds if you count climbing the same cliff or placing the rope around your neck. If you need someone to talk to, I can listen and mean it. In exchange, I will do my best to remember to ask, is now a good time? Apostrophe. I know people have stress and other things going on in their lives, so sometimes they aren't in the right mindset to listen to me unload, and I want to respect that. Another thing friends can do that honestly help me, might not be helpful for everyone, is just distract me when I'm spiraling downward. Sometimes I just need someone to distract me to help me stop. My so is great with this. If things are bad, he will often just start rambling about interests or what is going on in his day until I have calmed down. That can really help. That's a big one, yo. In Canada we have this suicide awareness day called Bell Let's Talk Day, where everyone posts about being open and willing to talk if anyone needs it. I never got suicidal, but I put out huge signals that I needed help and nobody ever reached out to me. I know most depressed or suicidal people don't want to have to reach out for help. They want someone to notice they need it and help. Least I felt that way. Don't ask them if they need anything. Just bring them stuff without even asking. A lot of asking for help just produces feelings that you are too much and that you are a burden on people, so if people help without you even asking, it's just one less thing that person has to worry about. I'm the friend, but here are my takes. Remind them that their presence is wanted. Make sure they know that they're important to you. Killing yourself when you know that people will in fact miss you and hurt when you're gone is a lot more difficult. Tell them what makes them special to you. Are they funny, sweet, smart? Let them know. Be ready to ducking. Tell them exact quotes from them showcasing those traits if you have to prove to them that you perceive them that way. And especially, above all, remind them that they are not a burden. I wouldn't waste my time with a worthless piece of shit. I'm here because I want you around. You're not wasting my time. You're not distracting me. And if you were, I'd tell you, if I really didn't want you to do so. You are my friend. You have to know when to shit talk too. This sounds horrible, But being able to speak to them like this is what lets them know that you're not just talking to them because you're supposed to, but because they're your friend and you want to help them. The last thing a suicidal person would need, I think, is the thoughts that the only person who is there is just sugarcoating everything to make them feel better because they're expected to be nice to everyone. Showing that you're in touch with reality makes what you say a lot more credible. You can't be afraid of sounding too persistent. When they say, "Let me die," you can't back down. You have to make them know that you're not giving up on them, that you need to be there for them. Remind them that there is hope. Your future is indeterminate. Anything can happen. And dying when there's still so much to see is the worst. I'm not saying that you'll wake up tomorrow and be happy, but good things do come eventually. You can't let bad luck stop you. You should fight the world if that's the case. Or maybe it's not luck, but yourself ruining everything. There aren't problems with yourself that can't be fixed. There's a lot of help out there. But then again, I'm not one to make friends with people who really do just ruin everything for no reason. Back to my first point. You are my friend for a reason. It's because I value you. When they're not at their lowest point, just talk and be there with them. Wanna play video games or something? Sure man. Chilling with a friend can be a very relaxing escape from the things that drive us away from living. If you can't handle most of the stuff I said, then you can't ducking whine and say you actually cared about them when they do attempt it. If you ignore them and you can't stand them and you don't even try to spend time with them at all, you're the fucking problem. You are literally the fucking reason they feel outcasted, miserable and lonely because they fucking are. There is no "oh someone else will help them" bullshit. They need you. Don't just ignore them before it's too late. You're not a friend if you abandon them as soon as they open up about being sad. This is going to sound morbid, but honestly I wish someone had told me that it doesn't always work. Sometimes you survive, and you get to live with all the physical disabilities that will every day remind you of the biggest mistake of your life. And why you can't be the person you want to be because of choices you made when you were in a bad place, and it will affect others. I can't be the wife, mother, or woman I want to be because of self-inflicted injuries and their consequences. I have to look my daughter in the eyes and tell her, "Sorry honey, mommy can't play that game with you like daddy can. You'll have to wait until he gets home." Apostrophe. Because I cycle can't. I can't drive. I can't work. And I disappoint myself every single day because of it. You don't always succeed. You may become someone else's dependent. Truly think on that. Don't tell me what I should do. Don't tell me that I need help. I know. Don't tell me that I'm depressed. I know. Don't tell me that it'll make my family sad and that I'll be missed. I either don't believe you or that will make me feel worse. Remind me of specific things that I have to live for. Things that pertain to me. Going to college in the fall. Kids. Significant other. Dog. Great artistic abilities. If you tell me you'll go through my recovery with me, please actually do it. You agreed to it. So please don't leave me. Don't get my hopes up. Stay. Don't leave. If you're really that close to attempting suicide, there is nothing that can be said. Someone being there to stop it is the only thing that will. I was in hospital with 2 collapsed lungs, 5 broken ribs, a fractured pelvis, a fractured spine and lots of internal bleeding after I jumped off a cliff. I was in so much pain I had a pain button I could press which administered fentanyl. One of my sisters let me cry in her lap for a few hours. I said a lot of things that probably hurt her, like I wish it actually died. She said nothing but stroked my back and hair. She doesn't know this, but after that moment and just be able to cry in her lap in silence and without judgment helped me more than she'd ever know. My other sister cleaned me up when I couldn't do it myself. She brushed my extremely matted hair, helped me shower for the first time in 4 days, and gave me a manicure. That also helped me feel a lot more human after the massive trauma I'd put my body through. I hated hospital food, so my mum cooked me a meal every day and brought it to me in the hospital. Those 3 ladies got me through the most horrific moment in my life just by small gestures. They will never be able to appreciate how those things made me feel a little better during the most horrific and mentally and physically painful time in my life, and they'll forever be grateful for their compassion and love. Don't leave even if they scream at you. Don't touch them, just remain present. Don't give advice, just be there. If you sincerely have concerns, your presence is so much louder than any other action or piece of advice you can give. Let them get mad or scream at you. Whatever emotion they are throwing at you is an emotion that's not being directed inward. If they are sobbing, don't just try to get up in their personal space. Just be there, offer Kleenex, and try to keep them hydrated. Any little thing that seems too normal to be effective is noticed on a subconscious level. It's just little breaks in the inner turmoil. Being there no matter what without overreacting is such a powerful thing. And if things smooth over, never share what happened for any reason. If you duck up that trust that was developed during that time, you have betrayed them on so many levels. They'll never trust you or anyone else if they find themselves in that state again. It's such a vulnerable moment. Don't make it about you by sharing without permission or cause. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.